Right, we're going to crack into some MWS bits today. Welcome back to bench. Back on the bench here, not on my desk anymore, but we had a look in one of the last videos. I'm not sure what, sort of pattern these go up in. Might sound a little bit echoey in here because I've emptied a lot of stuff. My desk used to be in the same room, which I've now moved downstairs. And I'm going to be perhaps putting a proper dedicated camera rig over the other side, and perhaps get rid of this because it's currently sat on just this wooden post. It's really like proper MacGyver setup. You'll see I've cleaned a bit of the bench here, but trying something new. I'm trying a higher definition, lower frames per second. I'll zoom out with the camera, but then what I'll do is I'll see about in post-processing, maybe sort of cropping it down a little bit. But that good friend of mine who runs Bavtac came through and he's made me a steel barrel nut for the Mark 18 should I require it. So that's a nice steel one. It's going to be a lot stronger. This has been machined and then put on a milling machine to put the slots in. So that's there ready when I need to use it. I'll probably just coat it just to get rid of the silver, or I could just heat treat it, pop it in some oil. Right, so we're going to look at some MWS bits today. Sorry for the lengthy intro and babbling, but more importantly, we're going to be looking at bolts. So here I have the Guns Modify stainless bolt. Let's take this out here, if I can get it out. This is how it comes. I've put the bag you normally get with the little extra bits in to put all these bits in, which holds the roller bearing in. When I put all these in, it wouldn't pop out when I was just checking where they went, so all I've done is just pop the bag over the end there. I'm just going to go grab my Guns Modify Evo bolt. So just popped out to the workshop just to grab the bolt, which is, you'll see, still in the packaging. Got a bit of Cerakote on the go as well. So this is a Noveski. I think this is the EMG APS one, and the rail, which has been done in OD green. Might be difficult to see on this light, but that's going to be going up to Earl at DEF CON. So if you know Earl at DEF CON, these are going to be going up to him. Beautiful colour. Should have them soon. But let's stay on topic. And this bolt, this Evo bolt, sorry if I'm out of breath, apart from just fitting it in and making sure it worked, it's still in its packaging. So this is the Evo bolt. This comes complete. You can get this bolt, I bought it from WGC, I think it was £76. And that's how it comes. It's got this really dark brown sort of steel finish. But that's as it comes. It's literally ready to go into your rifle. This one, on the other hand, doesn't come complete, which I think was a bit of a cheeky one. We also need the rear section, which came with it. So you get this rear section with the roller on, much like this one. It's a little bit of more of a different design. So you've got the roller, the pin that holds the roller in, and then this pin which holds the pin that holds the roller in. So let's grab a gun. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch an MWS by its gas block. This is a short guy's leg because this one's going to be getting pimped up anyway. So here we have a standard Marui bolt. Well, I say a standard Marui bolt. I did have to change the spring in this, and I've just put the fucking receiver together without bolting. Not paying attention. So I'm going to be putting the parts from this into that. And then for a standard bolt, I'll nick the bolt out the Mark 18. So let's pop this to one side. And we can get this fitted onto there. Look how nice that looks. I almost feel bad touching it because I've got dirty hands. So let's give this a wipe over first. Let's get rid of any loose grease. Right, let's give it a couple of Phillips heads. And first of all, we'll pop the top off. So one screw, two screws. So we need to be careful of that spring. That'll enable that to come forward and we can take that out. So once this is off, what we do, I do like to use my old tweezers for this stuff, but just a simple flathead would suffice. We just pull this rear piece up like that and it will pull all this out. So there we have the components that we need. And then I think the only thing we need from this is the bolt off the back. So is it a 4? It's a 4. We're going to need to put something through it to get the torque. There we go. So we'll nick the bolt, we'll pop this to one side. It is literally just a standard Marui bolt. You'll see they have like a piece fitted for where the Z plate hits, which is, I presume, is a stronger material. The Evo bolt has a steel piece fitted on the front here. However, the stainless one, it's actually just incorporated into the bolt itself. So they've obviously made it out of a strong stainless before coating it. Let's give this a wipe off because it is a bit grubby from where it's been used. We'll just pop that little O-ring off so we can wipe the piston cup here on the end. So, what do we need? We need a bit of lube. I don't think we need anything else, do we? So, we can get this fitted. Can pop the O-ring on there. What we can do is we can pull the spring out ever so gently and apply a bit of lube to the spring just to quiet it down a little bit, because they do tend to twang sometimes if they're dry. We'll apply some grease to this piston cup, and then we're going to slide this into the bolts. Oh, are we? It's quite tight. Oh God, that is quite tight. I do have a brand new Guns Modify nozzle. I don't have the cup for the rear, however. I'm wondering if we put the TM cup on there. Yeah. So your standard TM nozzle won't go in. However, Guns Modify nozzle with the TM cup on the back will go straight in. For some reason, this one's tight, and it's not the cup; it's the plastic. So the GM nozzles are obviously a little bit slimmer, but we don't want any binding up. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop these parts onto the GM nozzle, because the last thing we want is to have some issues. You know, I had a spare. We'll leave it as that. We'll see if it works. So that can now be fitted. Lines up. Also looks like there's swarf or something in the threads. There's all swarf in the threads. And I need to... Right, let me focus. Let me stay on topic. Otherwise this will be an hour-long video. So that's in, that plate's in. That all fits up as normal. We can now extend that. This piece can go on the top. We can pop this spring in. Before we do that, we'll pop one of the screws in so it doesn't jump out on me. Because these springs are not. I'm glad I spotted that swarf before I screwed that in, because that would have been a grindy install. Right, I'm going to try and install this without stabbing myself in the hands. There we go. Screw these two screws down. I might have to get some gold Cerakote in and Cerakote some of my bolts. I do like that colour. It's very cool. Right, so we've got this far. This piece needs to go on now. Doesn't give you a bolt, but we have one off the Marui bolt. Set that as opposite on the top. We'll torque this down. And now we have a GM bolt ready to go. So that's GM part. We've got a spare Marui nozzle there if I ever need it. 1, 2. Let's get the control group bolt. Oh. You never know, if we're feeling fancy, we could always run the gold bolt in the Mark 18. Perhaps I'll do tests on both, because the Mark 18 does have a longer barrel than the Mini Geisley, the Mark IV. So we have Marui, we have GM Evo, and we have GM stainless with Marui parts on top here, but with a GM nozzle, because the Marui nozzle does not fit. Right, got there in the end, folks. Take that sling off. Let's put the spring and buffer in. There we go. This is a standard Marui trigger pack with the Bavtak Z plate. So, oh, shouldn't have done that. There we go. So, what we'll do, we'll put the Marui bolt. This is a brand new Marui bolt because it came in the Mark 18. It's hardly had any rounds through it. So let's go get some magazines. Right, okay. So we've got the Marui bolt up first. We have 3 standard magazines for the chrono test. First of all, I'm going to be measuring power. So 0.2s, 0.25s, 0.3s. Now here is the disclaimer. Don't go down to the comment section going blah, 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 I know better, this, that and the other, before listening to this part. There are loads of variables in play here. There are variables in valve in the bolt. There's variables in the propellant. I'm using propane. There's variables in the barrel length and the barrel tightness. There's variables in how much gas is in the magazine, because it's not, you know, it's not super accurate. There's also variables in the temperature. Now these magazines do feel cold to the touch, but it is warm inside. So just because I get a certain readout, again, this gun is shorter than most, or any standard MWS. You know, the shortest barrel normally gets 250. This one's shorter. is a short build. And I try to make my videos super concise and clear, but I still get those that don't watch the video and they go straight down to the comment section moaning about this, that and the other, and they haven't even watched the video. I know I'm going off on a rant here, but I'm just preempting it, so you've been warned. If you comment down below, you haven't listened. We're just testing the setup in this particular rifle. Right, we'll set our ammo. So we've got 2s, we've got 2 5s. I'm not going up to 4s and 4 8s and whatnot, as you know. We'll be here forever. People switch off. So we're going to do 2s first. Let me get the chrono set on something. Right, so 0.2 gram BBs, and this is the Marui bolt. So 311, 303, 303, 303, 295, 299, 297, 298, 295, need a better BB catcher, 294. So there's 10 shots. I'm going to put the mag in with 0.25s. I'm going to fire one because there's still a 0.2 in the barrel, so we are going to go down to ammo, 2 5s. We're now going to turn it off and back on to reset it. 2 5s, 279, 265, 264, 258, 254. I don't think there's much gas in this magazine. 252, 253, 247, 242, 238. Right. Like I said, I don't think there's much gas in this mag. Propane's running out. So we'll do maybe 5 more shots and just see what happens. 275, 269, back where it was really, 263, 260, 256. Usually on a 2.5 I'm about 280 or 275-ish. So 0.2s, 0.25s. Let's get the mag for the 0.3s. Fire one. We're going to set the ammo on the chrono to a 0.3. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to turn it back on again. And here we go, 0.3. 275, just literally 1.05 joules. This magazine's obviously got a lot more gas in it. 272. 268, 264, 262, 265, 264, 261, 260, and 259. So hovering around about a joule there on a 0.3. Apologise if you hear the cats having a meltdown outside. So we're going to break the receiver, pull the standard bolt out, and I'm going to put the Guns Modify Evo bolt in. It very much could be a chance that these don't work at all. So I'm going to put the 0.2 mag back in, fire that 0.3 out. We're going to go to ammo, 0.2, and here we go. Guns modify Evo bolt, so 320, 307, 317, 316, 315, 315, 314, super consistent, 312, 314, and 314 again. So, you know, very consistent on the Guns Modify Evo bolt. Set the chrono to 2 5s. Turn it off and on again. I'm just going to top this mag up. This propane is going empty, so I'm just going to squirt a bit more in there. Right, 0.25s. Clear the one in the chamber because it's a 2. 2 5s. Guns Modify Evo bolt. 286. 276. 269. Let's discard that mag. I've got a box of mags here, so let me get another one out. Okay, 0.25 BBs, different magazine. See how punchy it is. Seems a bit better. So 315. This one's obviously been sat in the gun, the mag case warm. So 312, 313. These are starting to bounce out. 313, 310. 312, so a little bit higher on a nice fresh bag. 0.3 mag going in, clearing the 2.5 in the chamber. Turn the chrono off and on again to clear it. We're now on 0.3s. Guns Modify Evo bolt. 279, 274, 264, 260. Might have the same problem with this one now. 258, 257. Yeah, let's dump that mag. I'm really bad luck with empty gas mags. These mags have sat in storage for flipping hell a good while now, so. But I'm going to leave all this in because it'd be so easy to edit it out. But I'm not going to do that. Should have grabbed some fresh cans of propane when I was outside. Right, here we go. 295. This one's obviously a warm mag, so take that into consideration. 287. 280, it's coming down now, it's normalising. 281, 1.1 joules. 283, 278, 281, 274, 275, 277, 277. So usually on a game day I hover at 275 on a 0.3, so around about the 1 joule. Let's get an empty mag. Let's clear the chamber. Right, let's break the gun apart. taking the Evo bolt out and we're putting stainless bolt in. So in that goes. Hopefully you have no malfunctions. As you can see, that bolt looks the fucking tits, doesn't it? So, and thanks to the Bavtac Z plate, which sits the bolt a little bit more forward, when the bolt's at rest there, you can see the salient marking. So it's another reason to buy a Bavtac Z plate, titanium one. Right, ammo, .2s. They should be pretty similar. You know, we're still using Guns modified parts, so here we go. 0.2 gram. 330. 326. It sounds different. 323. 323. 320. 319. 321. 319. 318. And 317. The gun has a different sound. I don't know if you can pick that up, but it sounds more. I don't know. It's difficult to say. Let's carry on before I get carried away. So, set the chrono to 2.5s. Here we go. Off and on to clear it. 0.25 gram BBs. Here we go. 320. 317. 314. 313. 315. 312. 313. 313. 313. 311. I don't know what it is about the Guns modified nozzles. Although this one has the TM valve in, they just seem to be super consistent, which is strange. Let's dump that magazine out. Put the magazine with 0.3s in. We'll clear the BB that's in there. Switch it back on. We're on 0.3s. So here we go. 289. 288. 292. 281. Remember, this is a warm magazine. It's been sat inside all day. 286. 327, which is an anomaly. That might be a BB that's mixed in. Yeah, 287. 286. 283. And 279. So yeah, about 1 joule. So chrono wise, you know, we're neither here or there. There's too many variables to say for sure that one bolt chrono is higher than the other. One thing I will say is that the GM nozzles seem to have a bit more consistency. Again, too many variables. So power wise, there's no real big difference, but we want to test obviously the rate of fire, don't we? So I'm going to pop this bolt out here. Sorry, this is a long test, guys. I'm trying to be as thorough as possible. That's the GM one, I think. No, that's the GM one. So, standard Marui bolt. I'm going to go whoop these cats because they're doing the fucking head in. So, right, what we're going to do, I'm going to put those mags to one side. Let's get some warm mags. I'm going to use 2s because it really doesn't matter. So, okay, just a quick cut there because I'm just bombing up a load of mags. That's a boring content there. But what I'm going to do is I've got 4 magazines just in case we have one that's empty, bombed up with 0.2s now. First off, we have a standard Marui bolt. I'm going to try and get a good readout here, so you'll have to bear with me. So 15 rounds a second it looks like. Yeah, 14.6. So on the standard TM bolt, we might start to experience a bit of cool down here. So standard TM bolt, 15 rounds a second. Can't imagine there going to be much of a difference in all of them, to be honest. Right, Guns Modify Evo bolt. Same 0.2 gram BBs. Let's turn it off and on again. Let's see if we can get a good reading. About 14 rounds a second. 13.7. I think the gas is going this mag, so I'm going to say that's about the same. About 14 rounds a second. Bolts locking back every time. You've just got to love the Marui MWS. In my opinion, there's no other better gas blowback out there. I have tried everything. If you want a gas blowback M4, just go buy an MWS. It's as simple as that. So, we have the gold bolting now. And let's turn that off and on again to clear it. This is the one that's probably going to be the most tasty because it should be heavier really, shouldn't it? So let's give it a go. 13.7. 13.3. There is a considerable, a noticeable amount of extra recoil with this. Oh dear God. Let's, you have to excuse my gross chrono setup here, but you have a look at this. It's 0.2s again, so look how smooth that runs. So it just feels heavier, although it's not meant to be heavier. Let's go back to the standard Marui, and I'll see if I've got some scales somewhere to weigh them. Couple of mags here. These are mags that might be empty, so yeah, that was empty. Standard Marui bolt. Empty. Yeah, so much noticeably less recoil in comparison. Yeah. If you want to shoot full auto and have, you know, better, we won't call it recoil, we'll call it vibration. If you want to mitigate the vibration a lot better, and you don't want added recoil, I remember the rest of the gun's pretty much standard apart from the barrel components. Here's the Evo bolt. Oh. We're empty. That's a good test, wasn't it? Let's pop some of my VVs in. I will make some kind of dedicated camera setup for chronoing stuff. Right, Evo bolt, Guns Modify. Yeah, it's about the same as the Marui. Put that back out. Let's grab the old gold one. Beautiful gold salient bolt. So I think the moral of the story of this one is there are some little caveats to it where you can't fit the Marui nozzle. However, these are empty, by the way. Sounds and feels a lot more metallic. Like, think of it as this, when you're firing the standard Marui bolt and the Guns Modify Evo bolt, this is a weird analogy, but imagine hitting a piece of metal with a plastic hammer. Yeah. Now imagine hitting that same piece of metal with a metal hammer, and you get that different effect. It's hard to quantify it, but this has a lot more metallic sound, a lot more metallic feel, and it's that hard. It's almost like that hard surface smacking another hard surface. So let's get back on the bench, and I'll wrap this video up. There's BBs everywhere. Right, back on the bench. Whew. It's getting hot in here and it stinks of propane. So yeah, looks a hell of a lot better. These are obviously really subtle bolts. This is a very good bolt for the money. £76 for a complete bolt. It just can't be beaten in my opinion. You've got steel components on the back here where the hammer hits. You've got steel components on the front here, obviously where the Z plate catches. Double roller design. I think if you're looking for a spare bolt, Guns Modified Evo bolt, it can't be beaten for the price, and they work. In my opinion, just my opinion, you haven't got to get, you know, all crazy about it. I'd stay away from the Angry Gun bolts. Had a few of them, worked on a few of them for people, and they're just, although some people might have them that, you know, have got a good one that's good QC or something and it works, every Angry Gun bolt I've come across just hasn't, you know, performed. If Angry Gun want to reach out and supply one, I'll test it, but I won't be spending my money on one to test on camera. So if you're looking for a replacement for whatever reason for your TM, that one's a good one. You want to spend a bit of extra dough and have, you know, a really fancy, if you don't like the gold, you know, you could strip it and coat it. You know, you could coat it black. I don't know why you do that. There's a lot more metallic sound to this one. It's very hard to sort of get across on camera. But chrono-wise, no difference. Rate of fire-wise, really negligible. Not maybe 1 round per second or something like that. Again, there's loads of different variables in play here. I just wanted to see if there was any vast difference. You know, if you get like 15 rounds a second out of this, but then you get 10 out of this, then it's a vast difference. It's not, even though it's stainless, it doesn't seem to be heavy. Now I do have, these aren't my accurate scales by any means, but I can't find my super precise scales. Oh, I've done it, fucking done it again. Never mind. I'm just trying to focus on the camera, that is. Let's see what they weigh. Right, standard Marui bolt. All up, 218 grams. Guns Modified Evo bolt, all up, slightly lighter, 211. So it could be a case of the mags were just getting low, but you know, the difference was so negligible between those two. Stainless steel bolt, 3 grams heavier than the standard one, so there is your answer. Bit of grease here and there. I think the main thing is keeping that bolt nice and clean and shiny. If you're trying to be sneaky in the woods, probably not the best idea. But in terms of Gucci parts, I am so impressed with this. I might buy some more because it's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? And it looks fantastic. I might pop them, probably not in my M733 or the Geyser build because I've got the RBCG carrier group in there. I might get, yeah, I don't think I've got anything else to put in. Maybe the Mark 18, I could put one in there. So, but you know, I've got spare bolts now. So this is in the Mark 18. I've got 2 Guns Modified bolts. If I'm out in the field and I get a broken part, which does happen, and I do recommend this to people, you know, if you want just worry-free, no malfunctions to stop your game day, and you're running a standard Marui bolt, go get the Guns Modified Evo bolt and just have it. I've had this in my gear for the past year now, and I've never had to, you know, the MWS is very good. And when I had the broken nozzle spring on this, I didn't have this, which is why I bought it, because like I always want one ready to go. And since I've bought it, I've had no malfunctions with any of my guns. So it's a super long video. I do apologise. Marui good, Guns Modified Evo, very good for the money. This, you're going to have to put parts in. You can't put your Marui nozzle in there, it won't fit properly, but this is also extremely good product. So thanks for tuning into this longer than it needs to be review of this part, and we'll see you in the next one. From me and Bench, have a good day.